Donggedo Jia Jerizon Roy, Shinjamado Duja Bonjon Ba, Serja Lombo Davra Jibago, Shaja Bajat, Gujon Zoi, Dorjin Janjin Delo Narotan, Mabamala Chija Gambo Ba, Pamodra Javan Dogom. Kajula mananje da junje danana zara tamje do lama laba la ye jizo zon la son yon den jam su nga la wa tendre don jen de be ge la zo jeme o zara to je jengur da manje shi je ngo po je da wa tamje ze ba kun jen shi je je Nyamin do gong ren je zhang za lo dan dan da ge lo chu zhang de war zhen jia lab dos chu lam de de war zhen jia lab dos lan zhe wa ze war zhen jia lab dos zhe wa yi xie zhen jia war zhen jia lab dos Gong Tenzin zhe war jiong ga ba me ba jie me ba ta me ba wa me ba zhuo me ba ta de do me dong jie me zhi ba nie xie xie den ba zu bu zang jie ma nan jie dan ba de la xiang za de zhen jie za ba la ma ji jie gu zong du jie xian lan da 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 ge ju lan be de da ge den ba dang sun jin jie dong jia jian bang zhe ba zhen jie lao de so Nang ka tang nyam be sim jin tam ji chi dong de din de la na me ba yang da bo zu bu san ji ji gong pang rong bo ji to ba sha di ji de dan bu ju gan ge xin de dong nyam se lang war jiu nyam be samba jiang chun qiu de sem ji ba dang qu nin be gun ju da gun long manner bu gun sim ban ca de la gang sim bar sa qu ne Kyobpa Jikten Sumgön gong bo de ni qin ze be dam qi gong ba jik ba de den de la tomar qu ju kolo gor bu chom de ne gun la pin ba tim de qi chom de ne dorwa sotar qi chom di som de shu sim ba re ta dren de ne jiang qiu sim bi chom dan de shu bu gap su re ne sa jiang qiu sim bi chom chi ba de la dor ji song ka ze
Acha jepa, dreke. Jepa dumba yang na jepa.
Ba de dong da na那什么人家那他，对，是好俺的，干嘛有人拿的？
Acha dumba drot sa jepa da dung dro yo samare sam.
人的了，多几送你去这边的，讲究是不？从的了，等你的那个，的人的，结巴的是吧？
那啥？
结巴的喂，这个结巴的这些。
jepa re be.
Oh yeah.
So, bringing to mind the welfare and benefit of all sentient beings, as vast as space is vast, and with the wish, may all beings who pervade space attain the state of fully perfected Buddhahood. It's with that objective that we engage in this process of the Dharma teachings. So we can listening to the Dharma teachings and then having the intent to put what we learn from them or the meaning of the teachings into practice. It's important that we generate the completely unmistaken, pure motivation of bodhicitta as we listen to the Dharma. And so the topic of these teachings is the profound teachings of the single intent, or the Gong Chik, by Lord Jikten Sumgön. And there are the 150 Vajra lines, or Vajra statements. And we have already gone through the chapters of the first chapter, which is turning, or the Dharma wheels, the three turnings. And then also we have gone through the second chapter, which mainly deals with interdependence or dependent origination. And we have also gone through the third chapter, which is mainly dealing with Vinaya, or Pratimoksha, the vows of individual liberation. So now we are on the fourth chapter, which is addressing the vows of bodhicitta, or bodhicitta. And within this chapter, there are 24 Vajra statements, or 24 lines. And now today we pick up with the eighth of these 24 lines.
And the Dorjis on the Dayin Jeva Niparan Jukap Yuso Dek Think Yore Tachirtang Chanchok Sem Nyamlin Chindu Tambo Dayin Nyampa Gom. Then Dayin Nyampa the Gom ne Take Nyamnyong Compared the Sindu. Then Remji Dayin Jewa Lasbo Gombatana Yonguyore. Kantaryang then Rangle Yin Jipas Dale Yin Jiba. Then Rakanyamni Da Jancho Sunganyamni Tumoma Empacha the Yubare Yin Yang Dan de la Gongde Da Yin Ki Yiba Zena Jirtang Da Yin Jewa de Karchimbo Yikayori Tsamak Jikten Sumgön Ke Sungdu Dene Da Yin Jewan de la Dus Mawamna Dene Yang de la Nipa si de Parche Yonguyore so de Sunguyore.
So this eighth Vajra statement of this chapter says, there are cases in which the exchange of self and other becomes a fault. So what is being said here is with respect to the bodhisattva practices, or the practices of bodhicitta, which involve equalizing self and others. So for a time, one meditates or practices holding the attitude in which oneself and others are equalized. And then as that practice of equalizing self and others develops, it becomes more developed and more profound in its reach, then eventually it evolves into the practice of exchanging self and others. And then eventually, as that becomes really further developed, it evolves into completely sacrificing for oneself for the benefit or sake of others. So completely disregarding oneself and only holding others, the welfare and benefit of others as important. And so, generally speaking, these are considered these are the the uncommon or exceptional practices of bodhicitta, the exceptional bodhicitta practices. And generally speaking, many or others would say that this is this practice of exchanging self and others is extremely important. But Lord Jikten Sumgön claims that actually when the time is not right, if it's not actually the appropriate time to engage in the practice of exchanging self and others, it can actually become harmful. It can actually become a fault or an obstacle.
Nan de ken ta chik to yang da yin je sona da yin ji na chung yong ko yore sung ko yomare kap kap standa yong ko yore so tenda yen za tu chu de kan ro ris na lam nga nang ko cholam dang jolam di min che ke de ni chan cho sam ba so su je o to so ke da yin ji yong na teni kaukasu teni sosola te parche yonggo yore yene yang tonlam tomni zonte ta dagin jewandala nipa yonggo yomare so nipa sina sosoro chundu yonggo yomare so dan di chung de kanda yonggo yore sinandala teni dong lojuji yore te hyugins.
So this is not to say, it is not as though Jikten Sumgön is claiming that at all times it is unwise or it is inappropriate to engage in the practice of exchanging self and others, but he is only saying that it is unwise when it is not the right time, when the time has not come. And so what then it is meant by the right time, the right timing. So he says that anyone who is still on the path of accumulation or the path of joining or the path of preparation, up to sort of the final stages of the path of preparation, then it is not an appropriate time to engage then in the practice of exchanging self and others. If one who is still on the path of accumulation and the path of joining or preparation engages in the practice of exchanging self and others, then it is quite possible that there will be obstacles, that obstacles will arise. However, if a bodhisattva has already reached the path of seeing, so from the point of the path of seeing on, then it becomes appropriate to engage in the practice of exchanging self and others. Then there is no risk of it becoming a fault. There is no way that one can incur harm or that it can become a fault. So what is meant when we speak of it becoming a fault? So to exemplify what is meant in this case by a fault, then Khenpo says he will share a story.
Dan de sanje ke dara ling ye sanje ke song ye ba tendare de yore de sharupu tara de kong jewang nguma shigla tene jancho ke sem nyamli nang tenda nang de du tene kanza yimba je kongen de na lebres te kanza de ke sharupu tara la sharupula churang ke mai de ngala te go do la bres ta jimba taro nang shubare tene sharupu ke kong ke jin se da mai de jimba tang ne tenda che du te mo de ke sharupu ke mai de korang kang ba su cha la ma jin kang ba ka na ma jin trache yabaris. Tene kamba ma zindu te ta make don da ta ngaran so chubanda wajirwa tene ko data box data yabaris. Ka yangwa kamba kya. Tene sharupuke chu jishan na te chigi churang tanda chigi la jivaris. Drigung nga ti make the kamba kyo na madzi de jar si data ya jindwa te nyuya chi de tin churang la ne make langwa yin te nga ke ti chi de tanda che ba yin la baris. Ten de la de ta sharpu ke o da simjin de da tham che ngune ke da kare la gura che lambda wa che la ngu thaptan da wa che modo train de kong sem hyu shum ne teni nintu ga lam la thokji ya baris tenda yin za teni te ke chewa jimane sharupu de nintu cha swaris chewa jimane zen teni chewa jima de sharupu rewa sharupu nintu rewa on der logic.
So this is a story that was told by the Buddha about the disciple Shariputra. So he said that many years or many lifetimes in the past, Shariputra was actually practicing on the path of bodhisattvas, or he was practicing bodhicitta. And at the time when he was practicing as the path of bodhisattvas, he came in contact with an individual who asked Shariputra to give him his eye. So he requested Shariputra's eyeball. And Shariputra, practicing exchanging self and others, removed his eyeball and gave it to the individual. And when he gave his eyeball to the person, they took the eyeball and put it on the ground and then stepped on it with his foot so that it popped and made a sort of a squishing sound, the sound of a pop. And so as he squashed Shariputra's eyeball, Shariputra said, why did you do that? Why on earth did you do that? And the man replied, I really enjoy like the sound of the squish of the that it makes when it squashes. I really enjoy the popping sound that it makes. And so then Shariputra became really discouraged. He became really sort of disheartened and thought, what is the point of trying to accomplish others' benefit? It isn't of any benefit. There's really no point. And so in becoming discouraged through this experience, he then fell back into the motivation of Shravakas, or so he entered the path of Shravakas, and then in his future birth as a disciple of the Buddha, he continued, with that. That is why he was a great Shravaka disciple who attained the state of arhatship, even though actually prior to that, he had in fact entered the path of the Bodhisattva path.
Tena yin zang Shanti Deva ke junjo nana Ninji Samba Mada Bes Mada Pars Lunda Tongwar Majates Jin de dan yin de yang Donqin Drebe Jordangos Che Tata Ninji ke Sente number Tado Yuna Tene da yin parabal jimba tang tsadu tene Koran su kare jena yang susun juba la su bene ma yin zang gayo marite Tene ninjis mada bayina yin kete suso ke jimba tang ya lula soba jimba tang ya te pichu logwar tang du tene juba jengarwa te insan tata suso ke lu de jimba tang ning ma re so de kaps tene data lu de jimba ma tang wan de danjin jin nyar de gore se ya ti tunda ma res tata lun de lan chutin ya bo ji dakjong ya bo jen na tene de ke Gandar persona dunta jima tab lo jima tab teni tela sopan tone teni don hajang jachim bon dokuyo zang teni lunda lamsang tanaben da yin jene teni jimba tong ninga yo marison.
So then, as Shantideva says in the Bodhicharya Avatara, do not give your body as long as your compassion remains impure, but you should certainly give it to accomplish the great purpose in this life and the next life. And so the point here that is made is that as long as one's compassion is not at a fully developed state of complete purity, if one overextends one's capacity to engage in generosity, it's possible that following those acts of generosity, one might give rise to regret. And so the danger is actually giving rise to regret. And that regret is only possible if the compassion is not completely pure yet. And so for that reason, if one overextends one's capacity for generosity by giving away one's, sacrificing one's own, limbs, one's body and life, then if that is misused, or if there is some abuse or misuse, then one becomes extremely discouraged. So what is meant by compassion not being completely purified is that there's still some extent to which one's generosity is tied up with expectation. And so if we aren't to give away our body and limbs when the time is not yet appropriate, it isn't to say that then we should, relish the body through self-clinging, but rather to dedicate the body to take care of it, to nurture it, to treat it well, and to engage in Dharma practice on the path, so that in the future, then we will be able to accomplish extremely vast benefit. And so, on the other hand, if this practice of exchanging self and others comes premature, then one will miss the opportunity to go further. So it is important not to be premature in one's practice of exchanging self and others.
Teta Jikpa Sanje Gendo Nan Song Yore, Gang Song Yore Shubayena, Jetar Min Hing Jumba Da Do Ba, Zawa La So, Sang Jeu Nam, Jin Yang Dumi Jule, Sung Jala Wa, Zub Sanje Min Hing De Yino Song. Di Dong Garesina Min Ke Dongboje, Min Ke Hing Dongboje Yuna, Te Ya Nuguchi Jeyum Butu Kapso. Teni simjin mo jik so jaya chi de di hindong de jie yabayina. Teni deke da simjin mangbo jik la ping toko yore de teni simjin jik chi de da di mi hindong bo de jie yabayin zang teni simji mambolo pin mato wa chan ro yore so te yin zang ta ti ming dungbo te kap te du je ma ya ne teni tela daksung yakbo je ba ina ta te ke simji ne ba chcha mambolo teni pin to ko yore o te ta samno ti toni teni da yin je wa te nga ning ko yo ma ris sungdo.
Likewise, the Buddha says in another sutra, as the beautiful medicine tree, whose roots and so on, and whose edible seeds must be protected from untimely use, although they eventually will be given, so it is with the perfect Buddha, the tree of medicine. So a medicinal plant or tree is all aspects, different aspects of the tree can become very potent or healing medicine to beings. But in order for it to fully develop, in all of its attributes, for the trunk to become fully developed and the branches with all of the abundance of foliage, then the root has to remain intact. But or the seed, the sprout, sorry, not the root, the sprout, or the kind of seedling or the tree or plant as it grows until it's mature has to be really nourished and looked after and cared for. Otherwise, if the young plant is cut prematurely, then it won't be rendered as potent and powerful as it could have been were it allowed to grow to its fully developed extent and then bring about all sorts of medicinal benefits for many beings. And so in that way, it is important to only apply the practice of exchanging self and others when that period of full maturation has come about, to not engage in the practice prematurely.
Ta da yin je wan de nga mni pa sumbarwa de da yin nyam ban de la tene ta tu de na ba kun de nyamli ji chok yore da yin nyam ban de pe gar chim bo cha de yore ngaran so chan chok sem nyamli nang khin ji yin na da yin nyam ban de ni par de gomz zo na ji ji go yore de la jin hi ting go yore so so rang lu la pe lang tene so so la na cha yong na mundu ba kang thot chong na ya zu thap ka ma wa so so la tene ma yin la chik ba ra ta chen jong wa ye le tru ba chik ba nang la so wa de do ke drop de yo chik ba de yin yun da la ta so so ra ni zama to yin la sam no zawa ni tong ma tha ban de danjing ge lim ba res de ha go yin de da dong nga zo ge ma yin la nu ba ji gun de ji cha do ji de lang kha tam ji ka dan de ta che de ba yin na 산제 그 람나 간라치 로그 산제 시바디 임핀 이게당 제바 드르브토니 로야 그 랑가라 산제 그 람라쿠요로 다 딕 도소 이누 이게다 제바 드르데나 로사 냐와 예다 둔로 텔라메슨 로사 메와스 제와 시마라 쌈노타마이나 지원 디톤 상노 다와이나 소소그 체당 수남 카지 롱다라 누구 요래 Perna Hinto ji yuna Hinto di gangla Mbasu ji mba yinda paseya gminji jagyana. Di Hinto te chorang kanang la suna dindin chorang la teki injike la chemical laudo zecha deka nunku yoro. Te tabachi samang tane karsi soso la jibaran zingo yuna da yin nyamba toni yin la pin taasi. Karsi pin musu ta mata bayina ya nu majis. Tan de tabachi semnang la ngibar to yo go na mato chuba yin sen na yang re chu ha go zenare gantar sen de la zancha jing mina slog namba katsen zipo na pinto mados. Zipa tamchi nang tardo wa de semgun zichi dirwa. Ngarang zu slog zupo de dongba katsen zipo yo na meto jig la durna churang keke ju mares. Keke ju zipo yo marwa. Meto jig la durwa ina. Meto tamja hat ganda tana doba zikin yidong wando. Tan danda sang tana susuk meto tamchi la gandan zipo ndo.
Khenpo la te sa che song, te yapo koma song, te meto ki zupo
meto tang ngarang tsuk zupo la katse zipo nying jipo yuna ya meto jik la pa durheb jeba ina tini ngarang tso meto de ngarang tso le ja tong ke ha zigiris zigindoa ne kato ye
So gatse ning jebo yona meto hansaya dele ning je gyore la gyore.
Ngarang tsu dongba da zubo katse nying jebo ina ya meto nying jebo jik la durna meto nying jebo jik la compete lamarwe durna teni meto de nying jigirwa shak namba ta nang ni se sang tang na ngarang tsu la janchup sen yu na tan ha jankin ta lan mi bakan zikhu te cha da yoris.
So whereas it is, one is cautioned to be careful about engaging in the practice of exchanging self and others prior to the appropriate time, when it comes to the practice of equalizing self and others, then there's no limit at any time. This is an extremely important practice to develop. So those who aspire to the path of bodhisattvas, or those who practice bodhicitta, then at all times, whenever there is the opportunity, it's important, it's absolutely necessary, in fact, to engage in the practice of equalizing self and others. In fact, to make it one's main practice or main meditation. And so through that is greatly assisted by consistently generating compassion, nurturing the mind state of compassion and causing it to grow and increase, and taking one's own example, or one's own, literally it said one's own body as the example. So based on one's own experience, relating with one's own experience in such a way that it becomes the cause to empathize with the experience of others. So for instance, if we become sick, and especially in periods where we really are afflicted by suffering, there's a great karmic ripening, say, for the manifestation of that illness might be very severe, and there might be a lot of pain. We might even feel like, oh, I can't even bear it any longer. And then in that experience of feeling that way, to remind oneself that there are many others who are afflicted by the same thing and even worse. Or to say that, we are all to recognize that we're all the same in our desire for well-being and happiness. We all experience the same sensations of pain and happiness, or pain and pleasure. And so to relate with one's own experience in such a way that it causes one to be able to empathize with and feel compassion for others with regard to their experiences of pain or suffering and happiness. And so, on the other hand, if one doesn't really think much at all of others and is just completely wrapped up in one's own experience and thinking, of trying to only avoid pain and suffering for oneself and only trying to get happiness for oneself, then based on that self-grasping, we're actually only causing our misfortune to, or the seeds for our future misfortune to multiply or increase. And so when there's only like the self-centered attitude, then the result is that in relationship to others, there's always kind of the attitude of either looking down on others or criticizing others or disparaging others or harming others to achieve one's own benefit. And so the result of that is only to fall into the lower realms. And so the path of the Buddhas is the path of holding the welfare and benefit of others as most important. And so whatever it is, if we choose to only sort of continue in a sort of self-centered, hedonistic or egotistical path, then it is that this becomes the cause that leads to rebirth in the realms of hungry ghosts and hell beings and animals in the future. And for all, not only that, but in one's present life, all of the merit and virtue that has been accumulated becomes sullied or destroyed. So it's just like eating, something that is covered in nasty chemicals or pesticides. So for instance, when we speak of, when it comes to vegetables that have been treated with harsh chemicals or pesticides, then it's pretty logical that if we eat those vegetables, then it's quite possible, we're ingesting the harmful chemicals, and that will also harm our cells. It will harm our body. And so it is with the actions based on self-interest. And so for that reason, it's so important to always make an effort in practicing the or developing the practice of equalizing self and others. And working to benefit others as much as we can. And if we are incapable of really benefiting others, then at least to refrain from harming them. And so if when it comes to kind of the superficial phenomena such as, our own body, and sort of the well-being and the beauty of our own body or our own form, even if we have a really nice an attractive appearance, if inwardly we're not so nice, or if inwardly there's only a strong self-grasping, then that nice physical form is of no benefit. And anyway, no matter how beautiful or attractive we might be physically, we're never really all that attractive. It's not even possible to really be all that attractive. Even if you compare like the beautiful, attractive form, of a human being to the most beautiful of flowers, then the flower is going to win. The flower is much more beautiful than even, a really attractive human being with all of the different colors and shapes and so forth. And so, on the other hand, if inwardly we have the mind of bodhicitta, then that beauty really is extraordinary. Then there's nothing more beautiful than that. That beauty outshines the beauty of any flower.
Dan de yungkin je kanza mambo yore ngarang tsu dara jutso nana. De yungkin je kanza mambo yore ngarang tsu tuga yore nduzo la. De tini suso ke tuzo lo ne tini lobjong ji, nyamlin ji tomna, tini pinto chimbo yore. De janchok sem chi ba de je jewa shima je la ke he toya yu bang rawo je de taba maris janchok sem dara ngarang su ma mambo na yore ma nga nyam do yo na ma nga na de na ma ni son mantar yang janchok sem din sem sem la janchok sem yoris mantar ma ni som la o de in za ngarang su janchok sem se ju de ta ring bo la yo mari ta nye bo la yo re de in za de nga zu chama ke janchok sen nyalin ji thom na tene rang de yin ji sebla nda yong go yorwa
Gongta tampo sungpati apokoma song tampo jangchub sem yokin gangsak mampo yore sung yore
yorwa ta ngarang tsumma nga ni lind yo na tinana janchok samba ni som yo yo thakchurwa ta janchok samba yo ngarang tsu nyam de yore janchok sem ngarang tsu ta ta nye bo yore
So these are the benefits, or such are the benefits of bodhicitta. And there are many who possess bodhicitta. Actually, there are many bodhisattvas among us. And also there are many who are cultivating bodhicitta, and they are practicing and studying and developing the qualities of bodhicitta in their own mind stream. We come into contact with many of those individuals who are our fellow Dharma companions. And it isn't as though, we will only, really develop bodhicitta in future lives, or that the benefits of this will really are only to be seen in future lives, but actually the benefits are immediate. They're right here, right now. And the ability to generate the qualities of bodhicitta are actually immediate. The benefits are immediate. And among, a group of 5 people, it wouldn't be extreme to say that among that group of 5 people, there are likely 2 or 3 who have bodhicitta. So bodhicitta is not so far away. It's actually very close. And there are many who are practicing bodhicitta, And likewise, there are many bodhisattvas among us. In developing bodhicitta, there is only benefit that can come for both self and others.
Read that Jancho Samba
Kayan ko mason. Chirang chik sung sung he digging na.
Ke lame.
Okay.
Lame. Ta Jancho Samba sejunde ngatso tang ta ni bolo yuri servande perna suso ke chowa da jarne hyuba ina. Ngatso ma yimba nyam dun rodu. O ma tengene sanje rindowa sanyang ra chowa ra de jeta ma da. Ina yang ma khashe ke ja hie tang lega le tang to so la ta de ngene jancho samba yin sa ra sanyang ra ji ong do ha. Den za jancho samba si de ngarang so da ta ringbo ma re ta ni bo la yu de ba. Tene jancho samba se ju de suso da ta ni bo da yu ba ma je suso rani tene jancho samba ji cha go trina yang cho jing ni de ba na san no dong dang ji san no dong dang ju wa ji dang na jancho samba cha ta ya da wo ji yin zang tene ka le kha bo dan ra ji ga ge ma yin zang tene jancho san yang si len ju de ka chen bo res.
So really, it's important to think of bodhicitta as really being very accessible, as being very near, and not something that's like a far off aspiration. So when we encounter others in the world, it might be difficult to really think of them as, Buddhas, or, when we're engaging with others, it might be challenging to see them as a Buddha. That feeling might not arise for us, but actually it's much more often that the feeling can arise, when we observe others and, the way that they move, the way that they speak, the way that they engage in work or activities, and to actually have the sensation, oh, that person must be a bodhisattva, they're really like a bodhisattva. And so in that way, we can see actually that it's not so distant, it's not so inaccessible as we might think. And so especially if we see others exhibiting those qualities, then we can easily feel inspired ourselves and think, I also want to become like that. I aspire, to have, to act from a place of bodhicitta, to really be a true bodhisattva. And so really it comes down to changing the attitude of the mind. So really to change the attitude of the mind so that it is one that is based on bodhicitta is not actually necessarily so difficult. And so it's really important to practice bodhicitta and to recognize that it is actually doable, that it isn't such a far off aspiration, that it's really actually more accessible than we might think.
Da dorji song gobade simper nuje devan dermisi song deg think yore de la yang yin ke song du jancho samba tamje lo nu se na teni de ke tin so so la devan jung yore se tandavan den ro yore wa da yin na yang jitin sum gong song de jancho samba la no ba se na Then Sosola Nuba Mato, then Sosola Deva Nayan Jung Maris, Jung Sigmaris, Simper knows the Devan Remesis.
So then there is the ninth Vajra statement, which is no connection to happiness exists through causing harm to a bodhisattva. Or another way of wording it might be, if one harms a bodhisattva, one will not have a connection with happiness. What is stated by others with regard to this topic is that if one harms a bodhisattva, by virtue of that connection with the bodhisattva, even through harming them, even though it is harm, because of the connection, the result of that will be happiness, or that that if one harms a bodhisattva, there is happiness or benefit that can come even through harming because of the connection. And Lord Jikten Sumgön says, if it is the case that one harms a bodhisattva, there's only harm that can come from that for the one who does the harm. There's only the corresponding harm that can be experienced as the result. That happiness can never come as a result of harming a bodhisattva.
Tanda zo de gawa to de yurisina zo sina danda shanti dewa ke junjong nang de gang la nu ba jie jiang den derwa devin jung ne de la chan chalos tanda je gang la se de janchu samba rawa janchu samba de so nu ba jie na teni so so la dewa yong kri sima ro kwa lang song yin na teni ndke yo mare 대인장 디게 돈다 가르르스나 잔초 선바도서 파 같이 누제 야바이나양 대 잔초 선바도서 그 철수소를 누데 누린 자그 말이스 잔초 선바도서 철수소를 누지네 저 린지네 페나 팔라 잔초 선바지라 그마 람나 장초 선바데 그 처처랑라 그마 라고 말이스 온 돈단데 인양 저랑 그 장초 선바라 파 노바 제나 딘 레벨라 소소로 동아 뇽고 요리스 된다 인자 심벌 누제 데반더 미시스 난델 로주 망보 요르티는 다 소소 그 장초 선바 라 파노바 세네 소소란 제버 가레 멤바 티 로주 데 휴게인 지네
So then, as is said in the by Shantideva, I pay homage to the source of happiness, who connects even those who harm him to happiness. So the one I pay the one who connects even those who harm him to happiness is the bodhisattva. So what is being referred to here is the bodhisattva. But if one hears that and then and thinking somehow that it's okay to harm a bodhisattva because there's only benefit that can come from it, that of course is not okay. That's an incorrect thinking. But what is true, or what is meant, is that if someone harms a bodhisattva, no matter how much harm they might do to a bodhisattva, the bodhisattva is never going to respond in turn with harm toward harm doers. So if, for instance, one accuses a bodhisattva of being a thief, or if one insults a bodhisattva calling them a thief or a liar, then the bodhisattva is never going to, in turn, accuse the accuser of being a thief or a liar themselves. So a bodhisattva would never respond to harm with harm. However, for somebody who does in fact harm a bodhisattva, then the inevitable outcome of that, the fruition of that, is great suffering. And there are many stories that exemplify this. And so Khenpo said he'll mention some of these stories.
Tanda sanje ke sungbarin do tingzin jarbonana yongke yorenda. Teni ho chancho sambachi yore ta chancho sambatsin de churanke injinana marana pa chancho samba la yandragerwa kongitsin la meto danzis meto danzi. Teni kong ne wimba shila yogde teni korloma teni korloma na jancho samba mambo yore tanda la chujun kolo korne yogde bare yogde de teni nin jegla ta kong loma zolanda sonre ta tereng ne zonde nga ma troncher tang tronzep tanda la mandro ne teni chujun kolo korgins ta de sola jen rodong shipu tu la pa kong ke gong rwa tanda somaris
So one of these stories is in the King of Samadhi Sutra. And in here there was a bodhisattva by the name of Meto Damze, which is something like a flower with beautiful petals. And he was residing in a sort of an isolated place, or a sort of solitary region, together with a gathering of disciples, bodhisattva disciples, where he engaged in the deed or the activity of turning the wheel of Dharma. And one day he said to his disciples, today, or I will no longer go down to the city or go down to the villages, but I will stay here and turn the wheel of Dharma.
Tene kong loma de so ge shubare jancho samba meto danzis da de paja dawa ke da yo das
yeah, danzi, sorry.
Tene ta churang be namba hajan zibo yore kong la hajan gen zibo yongdo tene nang tonin ziba de jancho ke sem yoro kong la chilo ke namba ziba yo ba tena yinzang tene troncher na ta jarpo yore te jarpo to so tene churang la chado tang tendre jimba ke churang la parche yongsi pare mapero nang shubare tene kongge tang nga ke lun de sungjob je nga lun de sungjob je ne tene sanje ji timba la pin thoba yunga mare karsi nge sanje ji timba de ke la sungjob je sanje ji timba ndi ke simjing thamje la pin thona ta lakpar de chu sanje ke timba chu madar shatang sanje ke timba ke chu ma nom ro sa to so la ta sanje ke chu de ya per tanda che ba yina tene namju nga zo ke sanje mangbo lan chupa chilo ge jong bo gen chupa pro le jang tene da jancho sem ge nyamling ke ton yin la pin da nan de da pin do che wa yu zang Tini kong pekbu yin songare.
Um, so, actually, the name, his name actually isn't translated as the beautiful petals of a flower, but actually like a flower of beautiful moonlight. And actually I misunderstood. Rather than saying he wasn't going to go down into the town or the villages, he said he was going today. He was going to venture down into the villages or the town to turn the wheel of Dharma. But his students, then when he announced this, they said to him, and his name was Meto Dadze because he was so beautiful. He was so radiant and beautiful. He was beautiful on the inside with a mind of pure bodhicitta, and likewise on the outside or externally, he was so his form. He was so attractive and so beautiful. And so the student said to him, please don't go into the town because the king has a lot of jealousy toward you. So it is quite possible that actually there will be certainly some sort of obstacle that could arise for you. So much better if you don't go down. Please don't go down to the village. And the Bodhisattva replied, he said, there is no reason or benefit in protecting my body. It is much more important to protect the teachings, the Buddha's teachings. There's a real benefit. There's no benefit that comes from protecting my own body, but there's great benefit that comes from protecting and distributing or disseminating the Buddha's teachings, causing them to spread. There is great benefit in the longevity, creating the circumstances for the longevity of the Buddha's teachings, and also there is extraordinary benefit that can come to sentient beings. In fact, the benefit of doing so, of spreading the Buddha's teachings, is even much greater than the most elaborate and exquisite of offerings that can be made. And so, so in this way, he insisted that he would still go down into the village or towns.
Tetara chen tini kong ma troncher tang tronser lama pepson. Tini pepne da kong chuchun kolo kor. Na tini duza simjin mambo chancho kalam la ku dana na waris. Tini kong ke nima ta shama dun zamla shila tu so manchu ne. Tini chuchun kolo kor. Na tini tanda chen tini lapar tu ta jarpo ke jarpo la zumo mambo yor tala jarpo che yor jarpo te la tini zumo mambo yor tini te ke jarpo te men la jarpo pawe chin labre kantar ta jarpo te la zumo mambo yor tini tuso tamche jang tini dara chancho samba meto danzi la tepa sho teni koranzu tik jancho ko semte la teni troa chi ne teni koranzu ka jancho ko sem nyamlin che ne tena na waris teni tikapso ta jarpo te teni ta jancho sembate la chado lang waris.
And so the Bodhisattva did indeed travel down to the city or the villages, and where he gathered, where he turned the wheel of Dharma, and there were many beings to be tamed who gathered there and listened intently to his Dharma teachings. And so this went on for some days. The Gong Chik Yamba Sumgön.
Dundra Chik la Shila Manchu.
Shila Chu Yore or Chu Yomare?
Manchu Yomare.
La so zai de Jangchup Simba Rang Yang na mit sangma.
Janchu Simba Kunrik. Chu Jung Kolo Go Trawa and Tralawa. Then Dundra Chik la Shila Manchu, then Chu Jung Kolo Go.
And so he continued to teach day and night for the period of like a week. And throughout that period, he didn't receive any food. He didn't take any food. And there were many who were present listening to the teachings, and among them were the queens of the king. So the king of the region had many queens, and this king, Shradatta, was very jealous. So he saw, that all of his queens receiving teachings, and they had great faith in the Bodhisattva Metodadze, and they gave rise to bodhicitta, and really, or they gave rise to the resolve of awakening, and also began engaging in the practices. And the king then became very jealous.
Tene ti janjo samba te drong hyo la res enge churang lang ngimba chimbo tegin lamne tene ta yopo tege te tarar jena tene janjo samba drong tang deyang janjo samba tege meita amcho tang yinla tamji je yo la res japo tege te tar de yopo tege ta himba no ko ke tara jena tene janjo samba de dromba res.
So the king then ordered one of his servants to go down there and to kill the Bodhisattva, to kill him, and not just to kill him, but to dismember him. And so the servant went down to where the Bodhisattva was, and he killed him and then dismembered his body, cutting off his ears and his limbs, cutting his body into little pieces like a butcher.
Tene da che du tikaps tene japo tan kurang tsama kan thongri karen thongri sena ta jancho samba ke yinla tan tene amcho da maila soba tanje pu tember je bakaps te jancho samba te ke kuzogni tene uzern ramadan cho tene wud so cho jo kasaka la wud so cho ne tene yang wud so mand tene jancho samba te ke kuzogna ma temso te tanda kurang so thongri kurang so ke jancho samba te drung bakaps tene japo de te sa te chom ra waji sa o ndande che manda waji insa re sam tanda ndo che tene ko ke ta japo ke ti jancho samba te ke pungbo zupo de nyari hyo la res sacha che la nyari hyo la res tene yopo de so ke tanda che tene jancho samba ke zupo de sacha che la nyar de tene dra che exam ji ne yanjar chik dala chimba res chimba indu te jancho samba ke kuzuk da zupo de zola dang de so yar ma songba ngar yinda te dang da dimba tanda cha de baris te cha ta jarbo te ha chang ke ta ji juba na ji no tra chimpo che song dan da ji bu chi parwa ji ri sha tin ten ko ke ti ke chancho samba ke kudong de la chu tin yen teni gewa mambo drabaris
And so actually, everybody witnessed when this happened. The pile of the Bodhisattva's body parts, his limbs and ears and eyes and head and all of the pieces of his body became like really radiant. So they were just sort of became very luminous and radiant, like the nature of light. And then they sent forth rainbows, or they radiated rainbow light that then traveled to out to the 10 directions, and then returned back into the parts of his body which had been cut up or dismembered, and then and everybody saw this and witnessed it with amazement. And then the king started to feel a little doubtful, and he thought, oh, maybe this really was somebody pretty exceptional. And then he told his ministers or his servants to collect the body parts, the corpse, and to transport them to another place. And so they did as he said, and they transported the corpse to another area. And then they went back like a week or so later to look again. And all of his these body parts, all his corpse, was still very, like, it hadn't rotted or deteriorated at all. It was still really kind of with a luminous complexion, and still very vibrant and very fresh. And so then the king really gave rise to a feeling of deep regret. And so then, feeling a great regret, he confessed, and he built a stupa with the relics of the Bodhisattva as at the center of the stupa, around the relics of the Bodhisattva's remains. He put in the center of the stupa, and then accumulated a great deal of virtue in that way.
Ringsel lamida kong kudong tel chuti
la so re kudong di indicate la gande la kona samsung tini ti jimsen ringsel la in kudong la de remains. Okay, so
pumbo terwa te ringsel mare
zuborang
korang ti ke logi na ringsel la yo mare yang ngarani ringsel la yana tene yang kemsa chan ro
la so gongta re ngarangika. So actually, Kimbola said, it wasn't that he enshrined the ring cell, because it wasn't. It doesn't say ring cell in the story. Actually, I just didn't really know how to translate this word, which is kudon, which is more like, I guess, just the remains. So the remains of the Bodhisattva were enshrined in the stupa, and in that way, then the king went on to actually end up accumulating a great deal of merit.
Tene tela soba ge gewa mambo drabari jarbote ge yin yang ta chancho samba trong ya du ti nami ge nyarwa nami le ji sando ta nyarwa nami le ji ne tene korang nyarwa nami ni ta korang ge mai ndra ta amcho je ya ta yin la je ya zo ko yang se tene duyong ring bu re na te ta dong han yang wa ris ta chancho samba la no ji na dewa Jungumari sungje tek logi tek do kuyore.
And so even though the king had made this connection with such an exalted bodhisattva, and even though in the end he ended up turning toward virtue, because he had engaged in such a heinous act, and he caused this great bodhisattva harm, then the result of that was that he fell into the most severe of the hell realms, the deepest of hell, the hell realms, and he had to experience a tremendous suffering, again, specifically the repetitive agony of dismemberment, having his ears ripped off and his eyes gouged out and his limbs, cut off from his body, and his body cut into pieces. And so again and again, he had to go through that level of tremendous suffering and remain there for a very long time. Chewa mampo cheyore yang na chewa che nyawa nanga.
Didn't you on a during boat nego chare? Jiwa jet song your mother. That Karamambo the song here, that Mambo Lavian River Mambo during boat nego chares.
And so he remained in these hell realms for eons, for many kalpas.
Oh yeah, then that long tone then dawa tapaki woman jupan and garrison resena Kangcher jersey namla trupa is Jin tang Timjong gewa karpa jar Sakpa keji kinjom tes cher Mzu leyin dikpa yo mayin song. Oh, tenda yin zang da jancho samba tamje la no pa sena. Tene da so da la tene ndreva donghar nyungwa ma to dewa jong go yo mare song tsa sabza nangore song.
So ju lama la yore sungyen be de umajupa pache.
Umajupa lai.
Umajupa. De dep nanga te yore de.
Ne lai umajupa lai. Dawa chakwa. Sungkin dawa chakwa.
Oh, dawa chakwa. Naso. So then, as Chandra Kirti said in the Madhyamaka Avatara, being furious with the bodhisattva, the virtue that arose from generosity and discipline, accumulated over 100 eons, is destroyed in a single instant. Therefore, there is no greater non-virtue than impatience.
Oh yeah. Dan dio the dorji song juba deri. Get a me gin revo so sorn johnson. Dan de la tes jitin sungung ko son de gewala revo dewa megewan revo donga ma do gewala revo donga tang megewala revo dewan jonga yo mari son. Dan de yang Jitang ke ying yizola Pinzi gewe pangs ta tambo jion rawo te gewa yimbala teni namin rawo te chor zo undu yang megewa ke zo rawa je yoris
Gongta yang chasinta
tambo jion rawo te gewe jiola tindu teni da John Rawote give it Jolatin. Teni Sir Draven Rawote Sir me into young don't have a mean de watana, younger your son, the yink data which is sunko yore.
So then we have the 10th Vajra statement, which says, the results of virtue and non-virtue occur separately. So the argument that Lord Jikten Sumgön makes is that that virtue and non-virtue always yield their corresponding fruits individually and separately. So virtue leads to happiness and non-virtue leads to suffering. And it is never the case that non-virtue leads to happiness and virtue leads to suffering. But in some other schools of thought, it is thought that based on sort of the kind of collection of different causes, that sometimes it can be the case that virtuous causes end up yielding fruitions or aspects. There are aspects of the fruition which are, in fact, the nature of suffering. And likewise, even though non-virtuous causes may be accumulated due to the collection of different causes, so there are ways in which that the fruition of that cause can end up being the nature of happiness.
The Chirdan da Ying Gong Sumba Tar the Che Hobbs Tena then Rawaji Yore. The Kanri Sena Pena Magic Jacob Supporting and the Jewa Lang Yawate Jacob Jo Urpojing and the Jewa Malang Jacob Supporting and the Jewa Lang Yawate could jog Gewan our Tin the Jewa Lang Yawaris. Young Jacob Supporting Nani Korang Trambo Chad Yorha. That day, never know they call Tramboni the means one. On the double gone, then he jog gave in and never don't have me by your saying, Yink Telexon dance on Rava. Tan Jikten Sumgön de Maris Churang Jacob and the Jacob the Nepelling Yora Jacob support and Jewa Limate, Churang Jogewa Latin Juaris. In the young Jacob Supon Jewa Lang said Churang Trambo Chando Yande did you give a taking driver Mari? The Churang Jo Megawa Jacksane, Tin driver is on it. That Jikten Sumgön Sundo at Redo Tagda.
So actually, when observing or when looking at the two arguments, actually they come out sounding very similar. But the difference is that, for instance, one argument says, say, for instance, someone accumulates the virtue, and the result of that virtue is that they are born in a land of abundance, like a really rich and wealthy region. But then they are, though they are born there, they may also be a beggar, or their fate in this rich region or wealthy region or land is that they are poor, they're a beggar. And so therefore then some will explain that while the cause was virtue, or while the ripening is one that accorded with the cause of virtue, there also within that virtue is ripening, there's also suffering. Whereas Lord Jikten Sumgön says, no, it is not quite like this, but actually, so one becomes, or as a result of virtue, one is born in a wealthy region or land. But then the fate of that person being that of a beggar, or being born there as a beggar or in poverty, is also a specific cause, it is a fruition that corresponds with the cause of non-virtue. So the one result, which is being born in the wealthy land, is the result of virtue. And then the result of being born as a beggar in that wealthy land is due to a separate cause of non-virtue. So they are two separate ripenings, not like a kind of collective ripening of one cause. Yeah.
Tachirtan yin ke sumbatar de la kanzan ro ye yagar kanzan ro ye pensun ro ra pen ro che tambo jo gewa sane tenin rebe dewa min dong ki che yang tambo jo megewa sane rebe donga min dong ki che kanzan ni chaso.
Okay, tambo ju gewa sane drebu dewa tene nipa.
Tene yang jo megewa sane rebe donga min do wa ni chaso. Tene sumba de la jo gewa san and rebe donga min do ba. Te sumba chang jo megewa san rebe dewa min do ba. State da ba ye ya ga yor da. Yin kin jo du. Dan de hob de kalapa tap jin ro hiep tra ma jin na jin ra won ra je ka he ke le jum de mi pe le ka hyu le de na je jawa lam ro yong de wan ro tan de so lem de le hyu ka ninga cha de yor wa ka he ke chu ge wa ka che dron na ya ta rong che lu la na cha tang jing par che mang bo yo de wan ro yong da tan de so lo che ko de ni pa some no rakhi and wind the chader that try you draw tawa ina teni tsama never kang me nothing on the jo dedan twin ba je song de wa je chad yoro tenda ina teni ta lemde ki shiwa tinder malawa se je den da chad yoris.
Okay, the Chikchina Tesa Yangche Sungo Sare the Gainsana the Ji Dito Hako Song in Yang Tiki Jela
Okay,
Kana Jimsin
Choran yet a jerk hotning and Yanjala.
Okay. So the other views or arguments will claim that they're like using one individual. There are four different examples. Sometimes it can be the case that a virtuous cause yields a or yields the fruit or the fruition of happiness. And sometimes it can be that the non-virtuous cause yields the fruition of suffering. And then sometimes it can be the case that the cause of a virtue also has aspects of suffering that arise, and the cause of non-virtue has aspects of happiness which arise.
Latin and Deva Mimba. Group ye or group ye. Group no. Jo Geva Latin and Deva Mimba. Chiri in the song. Jo Geva Latin Deva Mimba. Chicks.
Ride la yimba. Ju Gewa Latini, Dini Drebu Dewa. Ju Migewa Latini, Dini Drebu Dunga. Dini Ju Gewa Latini, Dini Dunga. Tene ju Miguel tene dewa.
Oh, check the yet song. Oh, yeah.
Chune digi o mare samgerawa digim singatetsum mangiora. The chitang te kainsena te ju gewala kapar dunga ganda yongere.
Then the Yunga de Kandra Chad Yorisina, Nala Yink at Dratang, the Chipa Chad Chang, your Kansina, Kosoke. O muka heke le jumde mepe leka hiu leken doas. Tene ina Koran so Jawa lamdo hiu yunkan doas. Jik del sam tondo. Jik o mulu rumbo che tamjur mulu rumbo che sijude top kale kabo kere mudoas. Tene Tata Makahe Pena Zabalendicala Mambo Yorvasamano. That Delasoba Copar Parapand of Pata and Tenovachi Yorva tell the Yinga data will son Tane, Tene Gevale Megeva Dreva Minkere Son de Barba. Tetan Jikten Sungo Sun the Kantar Churank Devachi na Tingun de Jogevachi Nipart Chin Baris. Churan and Dev Dongaji on the Tingun de Dev Megevachi Nipart Chin Baris.
So sometimes the argument will be that there are not cases in which, for instance, there are those who have engaged in, with no sort of concept of karmic interdependence or cause and result, then they engage in really great and negative activities or a lot of negativity. And yet still everything seems to work out for them, or they continually sort of seem to have things that are also ripening in a very favorable way, or they still have favorable ripenings. Or on the other hand, or likewise, they might argue, really, it is not actually so difficult, maybe, to achieve a precious human birth or human birth, that there are many who achieve a precious human birth who haven't really actually maybe created such a kind of the specific or exceptional causes. And so this is kind of a coarse way of looking at karma. And Lord Jikten Sumgön explains that if each of the each and every outcome or aspect of any given experience is, if there is a particular outcome of happiness, then that means, or that is the nature of favorability or happiness, and that means that before that or prior to that there was a virtuous cause that was created, and any outcome that is the nature of suffering necessitates the corresponding cause, that preceding that there was the creation of the corresponding cause of non-virtue, and that this is the only possibility.
Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you. Jini che lao gan ngaran ji chokten ni bala. Chirang trawai ba.
La so tini je nga chirang la je wa chi yo ti je la.
Ah, yeah.
Ti cho.
Re. Sunam de tamje zebane tovane berdanan bazen de jega nanja balong de boy. Subun zolen rowa jo. May every being ailing with the disease be freed at once from every malady. May all the sickness that afflicts the living be instantly and permanently healed. Thank you very much.
We will now take a 15-minute tea break and see you back shortly.